All right, I want to show you a few other tools I like to use a lot. The first one I want to talk about are some measurement tools. So right here underneath this little icon here, I want to show you a few cool measurement tools. The first one I want to show you is a ruler. I already have a triangle and a little image of a boy here that we can measure for practice. And what this lets you do is move it around. If I click that darker blue section, it allows me to move the ruler wherever I need to. And then I can measure the length of the side of this triangle and say it's about 8.5 units on this side. I say units because this does not match up perfectly with centimeters, or if I switch the green arrow lets me switch it to what looks like US customary inches, right? But the problem with this is that on your projector up on the screen, it may actually look more like several inches, instead of 1 inch. So they won't match up because it just depends on the distance of the projector from your screen. But the idea of measuring, the skills of measuring, you can still demonstrate in front of the whole class or have kids get that experience up on the smart board, or by using Smart Notebook on laptops or whatever else they are using with the Smart Notebook software. So this is a very powerful tool, but I always stress that this is not really going to be an inch up on your board. But the skill of where the half-inch line is and the quarter-inch line and the eighth-inch lines, all those skills are still going to translate perfectly over, but you use the word unit instead of inches. So anyway, the darker blue area lets you move it around wherever you need to measure, and then you can click in the more transparent white section. It will let you rotate it, and when you rotate it, you can then move it and say, okay, the boy is about 4.25 units tall or whatever. What's cool here is you can actually see the degree that you turned the ruler right here within that circle. So that's kind of fun. So, and you can also change the size of it. You can make it bigger or smaller. And that's, once again, proof that those are not going to be translated into direct inches, because I just now made my inches larger by changing the size of the ruler. So therefore, they are definitely going to be generic units, not actually the units that we use for real, because it's not going to match up. Another one of these measurement tools I want to show you is the protractor. The protractor you can set on an angle and tell the degree. So this looks like this. The degree of this angle is 110 degrees. Or let's say I want to measure this angle up here. I would put it into the vertex, and then I would rotate it with the white section, right? So I moved it with the dark blue, just like the ruler, and I can rotate it with the lighter white transparent section, and it looks like this angle is about 30 degrees. Right here, and once again you can see the degree of angles at which the degree to which I turned the protractor. Looks like I turned it about 69 degrees to get that uh, to get there. So let's delete this one and get this one out of my way. And I think I just did there for a second. I can make that one larger as well. Um, let's delete it. And I want to show you the last one here, the compass. A compass is used to draw circles and would be good for geometry classes where you're doing lots of proofs. But um, if you're just an elementary teacher that's wanting to talk about circles, it's easier just to use the shape tool that we've already talked about to do circles. But if you're actually using the circles to prove geometry theories, then you want to use the compass that's on here to go through the steps of what the students may have to do with their actual compasses. So with this arm of the compass, I can, oops, I went up to my shapes. I've hit undo and make sure I'm on my selector tool. I can now move my compass around by using this arm of the compass. And so I get right on the vertex again. And then if I come over here to this arm, I don't want to click the arm, but if I come out here to this edge here, it lets me change the radius of the circle that I'm about to draw. If I'm on the pen itself, I can come up here to the pen tools and actually change the color to black or green or whatever I want. But I can extend this arm out to this corner, and then if I click on the pen and just pull, it will automatically make a perfect circle based on that. So that's pretty straightforward as well. You have that arm to move it around, this arm to change the radius, and then click on the pen to move it around, or go up and change the color of the regular pen, and it will change the color of the ink that you use. The next slide, I want to talk about screen capture. This is one of the tools I probably use the most when I use Smart Notebook in the classroom. What this lets you do, and I mentioned this earlier in the presentation, that if you don't have this screen capture icon in your menu, you can always customize your toolbar by going to the little gear over here on the side, and that lets you pull and drag all these different tools and actions up into your shortcut menus. So if you don't have the screen capture, just scroll down until you find it. They're all in alphabetical order, and find it, drag it, and say, where do you want it to be? You find a spot for it and just let go, and it will now be there for you. If you have an extra one that you never ever use, you can actually do the opposite by clicking it and dragging it out, and it will go away. But I want to keep that icon, so I'm just going to cancel it because I already have it. When you click it, it brings up this menu for screen capturing, and this will basically follow you wherever you go. It'll float on top of whatever you're doing until you find the image that you want. So I'm going to minimize this, and let's say that I want to use this OCPS logo for whatever reason. I want this in my lesson. I have all these options here of how to capture that image, and you can either capture it to a brand new page. So create a page in your slide in your presentation and then put it on that new blank page, or if I don't check it, it'll put it on the page that I'm on. So I just want it to show up on that page that I'm already on. This is the rectangle, so I'm just going to steal this image, get this image, capture this image as a rectangle, let go, it clicks, and it brings it into your presentation, and you can resize it and do whatever you want with it. All right. You can go to websites and go to other documents that you have. Just be careful with copyright issues. You want to make sure you're following all the management directives on copyright. You don't want to put things into your presentations that you don't have rights to. But it is a very useful tool. I use this a lot for if I wanted to put my students into a lesson, right? So if I wanted their images to be in the lesson, I always had their class photos from the beginning of the year, and I could go to an image. We can do that as well. Let's say I like to use this one here, the freehand one. The freehand image capture will let you freehand draw, and like I would do this and go around the students' faces, or my face, or whatever the school's mascot image. I would go around and get just exactly what I want, and then it will capture that and put it into my presentation. But just remember that this menu will follow you wherever you go. So if you have images on your computer, I guess I should have done that for the example of an image. So let's say I have all my student pictures here, and if this is one of my students, I could go that same thing and do that little freehand drawing and say, okay, I want this to be in my presentation. I have rights to this picture, and I want to use it. And once again, it will go here. And you can do whatever you want with it now. So I definitely use this a lot. It makes your presentations more exciting and interesting, and like if you put the students' pictures in it and make them part of the problems that they're doing, they had a lot of fun with that. One more tool that I want to show you is the table. So if I create a table, you select it, and you can basically click how many rows and columns you want. So if you want 3 rows and 4 columns, click, and you now have that table. There are a lot of features of tables, but basically you can drop images in here of anything. If I say I want a star and I want to put that star in a cell, I can drop it in there and it'll do it automatically. I can drop text in there. I can drop ink in there. So if I draw my flower, it's a terrible flower, but you can take it and you can drop it right in to your cells. You can do shades, and where is that at? So add a cell shade, and you can start covering them up. And I did like matching games with this, with vocabulary definitions and pictures and all kinds of stuff. So that's quick and easy for cells. And we'll stop here for now.